You know, in the world of succulents, which is already pretty weird and wonderful, there are these plants that have taken hiding to a whole new level. I mean, they look more like rocks than actual living things. So today, let's pull back the curtain on these incredible masters of disguise. Okay, so our story starts right here. I want you to picture this. A place where the sun is just relentless. The air is hot and dusty, and to survive, life has to get, well, really creative. Welcome to the Little Karoo. So, take a good, close look at what's nestled in and among those rocks. What are we looking at here? What if I told you that those little shimmering things, they aren't stones at all? What if they're actually alive? If you were thinking living jewels, you're totally on the right track. You've got a great eye for nature's little tricks. These are South Africa's amazing pebble plants, and they belong to a genus called Gibbaeum. And we are about to dive deep into their incredibly exclusive and fascinating world. And when I say exclusive, I really mean it. It's kind of wild, actually. This entire group of plants is pretty much found only in this one spot, the Little Karoo, down in the Southern Cape. They've evolved to be perfect for this one very specific place on Earth. Nowhere else, really. So, how many of these little masters of disguise are we talking about? You might think there'd be a huge family of them, right? Nope. There are just 14. That's it. Only 14 known species that have absolutely perfected the art of looking like a pebble. But hey, don't let that small number fool you for a second, because within those 14 species, there is a ton of variety. Each one has its own little playbook for how to survive that crazy sun and, not get eaten by something thirsty. One of the first things you'd notice if you could touch them is the texture. It's a huge difference. Imagine one feels like thick, dense velvet, and the one right next to it is as smooth and cool as a polished stone. Hairy versus smooth. And this is a perfect example of that. On the left, we've got Gibbaeum album. That bright white look, it's because it's covered in this thick coat of tiny hairs that basically act like sunscreen. Then on the right, you've got Gibbaeum heathii, which is completely smooth. The technical term botanists use is glabrous, which just means hairless. So you've got two totally different ways of solving the same problem, surviving the sun. It's not just about their skin, though. It's also about how they live their lives. Are they the social types, spreading out and forming these big communities? Or are they more like little hermits, just wanting to hide away from everyone? Just look at this. On the left, that's Gibbaeum angulipes, a classic mat former. It just spreads out and covers big patches of ground. But then on the right, you have the super rare Gibbaeum nebroni, which does the complete opposite. When things get dry, it literally pulls itself down into the soil, covering itself with dust until it's almost impossible to see. So cool. And that ability to just vanish brings us to maybe their most amazing skill of all, their incredible camouflage. What's so incredible here is how perfectly this species, Gibbaeum petrense, has evolved to look exactly like the quartz pebbles it grows among. It's a survival strategy called crypsis, and it basically means it's so well camouflaged that hungry animals just can't tell the plant apart from the rocks. Brilliant, right? So this ability to blend in so well, not just with rocks, but with other plants too, it creates a real headache, even for the experts. I mean, how are you supposed to identify a plant that's a professional imposter, especially when it's got lookalikes growing right beside it? And sometimes they get so cozy with their neighbors, like this Muiria hortensia here, that they actually cross-pollinate, and what you get is this, a super rare intergeneric hybrid. That just means it's a hybrid between two totally different genera. They look so alike that they can actually create something new together. Okay, so that brings up the big question, right? If they look alike, live in the same place, and can even have babies together, how in the world do you tell them apart for real? There's got to be a secret clue somewhere. And it turns out the secret isn't in the leaves. It's not in the flowers. You can't see it on the outside. The real answer is locked away inside the plant's seed capsule. Think of it like a unique fingerprint that can't be faked. And this drawing shows it perfectly. Take a look at the Muiria capsule on the left. See how the seeds are just kind of out in the open? Okay, now look at the Gibbaeum capsule on the right. See that little flap, that protective cover over the seeds? That tiny membrane? That's everything. Muiria doesn't have one, but every single Gibbaeum does. That is the telltale sign. Okay, So we've seen them out in the wild, in this pretty extreme place. But what if you wanted to grow one of these little gems yourself? How do you take care of them?
Really, the whole trick is to try and copy their home environment. So, first thing, they need a lot of light. Think Little Karoo sun. Second, you have to be super careful with water. Give them a drink when they're actively growing, but when they go dormant, you need to keep them almost bone dry. And that's the third key thing. You have to let them have that dormant period, that rest. If you respect that cycle, they'll stay healthy and keep that cool, compact shape. It's like having your own little piece of the desert.
And when you get it all right, the reward is pretty amazing. You get a plant like this. This is Gibbaeum dispar, and a lot of collectors think this one is the absolute crown jewel of the whole group. You know, the person who first wrote about it described it perfectly. They said its glistening body is found contrasting quite dramatically with the dark lichen-covered shale in its habitat. I love that. It really is a living jewel, just shining against that dark, rough rock. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What other amazing things are out there hiding right in front of us? The next time you're outside, maybe just take a second to look a little closer. You really never know what kind of hidden worlds are waiting to be found, camouflaged in plain sight.